In the last class we discussed how the iron is extracted from the ore, hematite ore. So now today in this class let us discuss how the copper is extracted. Means the extraction of copper. Extraction of copper. Extraction of copper. So here we have to extract the copper means we know that the ores of the copper means the metal can be extracted from their ores. The metal can be extracted from their ores means where we get the ore are nothing but the minerals. So here from which ore I am using for the extraction of copper. So here we are using the ore is copper pyrites. The copper pyrites are the ore are mainly used in the extraction of copper. So the copper ore or the ore of the copper pyrites are the ore mainly used in the extraction of copper. Having the composition CuFeS2. CuFeS2 is the composition of copper pyrites. So now it is also having so many steps are there to explain how we get the copper from its copper pyrites, means how we get the copper from its ore. So here I will explain this process through a step. The first step what we have to do, the first one. If you have the ore means first we have to do first we have to crush it, hence we have to make it a finely powder, a small pieces. So first we have to take the copper pyrites ore. This copper pyrites ore are crushed and finally powdered. This copper pyrites are crushed and finally powdered. So next thing what we have to do, the next thing is to increase the ore concentration. To increase the concentration of the ore. In the previous classes we discussed how the ore are concentrated. So here we come to know that here the presence of sulfide is present in the copper pyrites. Mainly what type of ore concentration we have to do now? So that is the Froth flotation. That Froth flotation process mainly for what? Mainly where the ore contains sulfides. To increase the ore concentration, we have to remove the impurities, right? But we know that we are taking the ore in this extraction of copper, that is copper pyrites, having the composition CuFeS2, where sulfide is present. This ore is now crushed, finally powdered. Next we can enter for the concentration of the ore. The first step is the concentration of the ore. Concentration of the ore. We have to concentrate this one now. That is the concentration of the ore. So we have to concentrate the ore. You know that as we are taking the ore is copper pyrite having the composition CuFeS2, the presence of sulfide. So there are so many steps are there in the concentration of the ore. In the previous classes we have discussed earlierly what about the concentration of the ore, that is hydraulic washing, that is magnetic separation, Froth flotation and leaching. So here what type of concentration of ore we are applying in this extraction of copper? Here we are applying the which one? The Froth flotation. The Froth flotation or oil flotation, so both are same. So here we are concentrate the ore through Froth flotation. Why I am taking this Froth flotation? Because the Froth flotation differ where the ore containing the sulfide ores. I already explained in the previous classes. For the sulfide ores, mainly for the sulfide ores, we are to increase the concentration of the ore, we are use this Froth flotation process. So through this Froth flotation process, we increase the concentration of the ore. Next, the next is, the next what we have to do to increase the concentration of the ore, if we compare this extraction of copper to the iron, after this process, in the process, what we did in the extraction of iron, we finally powdered the hematite ore, then we washed with hydraulic washing, then next we will heat the ore in absence or limited supply, that we call calcination. But here what we are doing in the extraction of copper, after this ore concentration, next we have to heat this ore in very high with very high volume, and below its melting, very high temperature, below its melting point, within excess of air. That process we call it is what? Roasting. So now what we have to do now? Hence we have to roast this. Hence we have to roast this concentrated ore. So roasting, we know that what is roasting? The ore is heated with very high temperature below its melting point with excess of air. Excess means with the presence of air. That process we call roasting. So here the copper pyrite ores are heated. That's what CuFeS2. So in the presence of oxygen, excess of air, presence of oxygen, what we will get? So the formation of what? Cu2S, cuprous sulfide plus ferrous sulfide plus volatile oxide, the sulfur dioxide, the formation of sulfur dioxide gas. Cu2, 2FeS. Now it's balanced. So here the copper pyrite ore is heated, the process that is roasting in the presence of oxygen, formation of cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide, where the sulfur dioxide gas, it will, the volatile gas, it will get escape. Cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. Cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide, where the sulfur dioxide gas will escape. So this is the second step under the extraction of copper, that is roasting. So the first one is the concentration of the ore, the second one is roasting. This roasting, it takes place in an operate we call a reverberatory furnace. This thing will take place in the reverberatory furnace. Inside that furnace, this process will take place. So now this mixture, this cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide, these two mixtures, this mixture now introduced into the blast furnace. Now this mixture is into the blast furnace. That the third step we call smelting. The third step we call smelting is the third step in the extraction of copper. So here I am introducing the mixture, the cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide inside the blast furnace. Inside the blast furnace, I am introducing this mixture, the Cu2S and ferrous sulfide. Here in this blast furnace, here this roasted ore is introduced into the blast furnace, and to this I am going to add the sand and the coke. The sand and the coke. Here the sand act as a what? The slag. Here the coke act as a reducing agent. Got it? So hence I am adding the sand and the coke, where the coke act as a reducing agent, and the sand. So now what happened? So this mixture, so now I introduce into the blast furnace. So this is a rough diagram. of this blast furnace. So now I am going to introduce this Cu2S plus FeS plus sand and coke. So now what happened? So I am passing a hot air inside through this inlet. I am passing the blast of hot air is passed through this pipe. So what happened now? So this ferrous oxide, this ferrous sulfide combines with this Cu2S, a mixture of this cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide, sand and coke. So all this get mixture. Now I am introducing this inside the blast furnace. So now I am passing a blast of hot air through this pipe inside the blast furnace. So now the ferrous sulfide present in this mixture, the roasted mixture, the ferrous sulfide combines with or decomposes with oxygen to the formation of ferrous oxide plus sulfur dioxide gas, SO2. SO2. Got it? This ferrous sulfide combines with oxygen, decomposes with oxygen to the formation of react to give ferrous oxide and SO2 gas. So now this ferrous oxide FeO combines with the sand. Sand is SiO2. SiO2. This is nothing but a gangue. We call it as a gangue, a impurity. So formation of what? FeSiO3, a slag formation. FeSiO3. When the ferrous oxide combines with the sand, means silicon dioxide, means nothing but the gangue, we call it as a flux here. So the formation of what? Slag. The slag will form. That is FeSiO3. Where it is formed, this slag? Here the slag will form at the bottom of the blast furnace. At the bottom of the blast furnace, so at the bottom there will be the deposition of what? Here this cuprous sulfide, the Cu2 gas, the mixture of Cu2 gas, a mixture of cuprous sulfide, a mixture of cuprous sulfide, that is Cu2S, and a traces of unconverted ferrous sulfate. Still some traces of unconverted ferrous sulfate is also present, that is FeS. Just two or the mixtures, they get deposited at the bottom of the blast furnace. So that mixture, that is what? Cu2S plus FeS. This is very important. We call it as an matte. Also we call it copper matte. It's very important. We call it as an matte, a mixture. That mixture will get deposited at below the blast furnace. So what's that? The mixture of the cuprous sulfide, Cu2S, and traces of unconverted ferrous sulfate. This mixture will collect at the bottom of the furnace, and the upper we come to know that the formation of the slag formation, that is FeSiO3. So now this mixture, this copper matte, the Cu2S, the copper sulfate, the mixture of cuprous sulfide and the traces of unconverted ferrous sulfide, this we call as a matte. This mixture is now introduced into the next operator we call a Bessemer converter. That process we call Bessemerization. That process we call Bessemerization. So now this mixture, this matte is now introduced into the Bessemer converter. now this mixture is introduced into the Bessemer converter. Which mixture? This matic. So now here the mixture of cuprous sulfide and traces of ferrous sulfide, traces of unconverted ferrous sulfide. This FeS again it combines with oxygen. Traces, a little bit traces still is there, the ferrous sulfate is there, traces unconverted ferrous sulfide again it combines with oxygen. So formation of ferrous oxide plus SO2. So this ferrous oxide combines with sand, silicon dioxide, formation of FeSiO3. So all the traces, a little bit traces also get converted into the slag. So the left behind, that is what? Cu2S. So this Cu2S combines with oxygen, react with oxygen in the Bessemer converter. It is like this rectangular Bessemer converter. So hence the blast of hot air is introduced along with the sand. Along with the sand, I am introducing the air inside the Bessemer converter. So what happens is Cu2S, the cuprous sulfide combines with the or reacts with the oxygen. Reacts with the oxygen to the formation of cuprous oxide plus SO2 gas will release. Cuprous oxide and sulfur dioxide gases release. So here only the 2/3 of the cuprous sulfide or get converted into the cuprous oxide. Still a little bit of a cuprous oxide is present. So now this the 2/3 of cuprous sulfide is reacts with oxygen, formation of cuprous oxide. Again this cuprous oxide combines with cuprous oxide, reacts with the cuprous sulfide to the formation of what? To the formation of Cu. Cu is nothing but what? The copper. Copper plus SO. So now it is balanced. Plus Cu plus SO. So how many molecules? This copper, this unconverted, this one Cu2O combines with Cu2S. So formation of what? Sorry, 4 plus 6 plus SO2. Yes, is correct. Is fully balanced. So now this 2/3 of this Cu2S combines with or reacts with oxygen to the formation of cuprous oxide. This cuprous oxide again it will reacts with cuprous sulfide to the formation of what? The copper. Molten copper is formed. The copper is formed where the SO2 gas is released. So we get the copper, a molten copper. So this copper, so here what happened? This copper is they are poured into molds. This copper is poured into molds and they are here and allow them to cool. So here by cooling this copper, so what happened? The gases, the sulfur dioxide gas will escape. The sulfur dioxide gas will escape from this mass. So formation of blisters on the surface. So formation of blisters means what? So here it is an Cu. So formation here the sulfur dioxide gas will escape. Formation of what? Like a hole will form. So we call it as a blister. Blisters. Formation of blisters. A hole. Formation of hole. Why? Because here the sulfur dioxide will gas will escape from this Cu. When you allow to cool. Got it? When you allow to cool this over, the sulfur dioxide gas will escape, causing a hole that we call as what? Blister. We also call this as a blister copper. We also call as a blister copper is 98% pure. Is 98% pure. This blister copper is 98% pure. So then finally we get the copper. Finally we get the copper. Got it? So once again I will repeat this concept. Once again I will repeat this concept. So this is extraction of copper, the extraction of copper, and so I am taking the ore, that is copper pyrites, copper pyrite having the composition CuFeS2. So the first we have to crush the ore, finally powder, hence we have next we have to concentrate the ore. The first step is the concentration of the ore. Hence we have concentration of the ore through the off-road flotation or oil flotation process. Next we have to heat in presence of excess of air, that called as roasting. So here is this roasting takes place in the reverberatory furnace. In this reverberatory furnace I am introducing this copper pyrites reacts with excess, means heat with in the presence of oxygen formation of the mixture cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. Cuprous sulfide and ferrous sulfide. This mixture along with the sand and the coke I am introducing this mixture into the blast furnace. So here into the blast furnace I am introducing this ferrous sulfate. This ferrous sulfate combines with, means it will heat where the hot air is passed inside to this blast furnace, combines with oxygen formation of ferrous oxide. This ferrous oxide combines with the impurity, that is the sand, that is the gangue, SiO2 formation of the slag FeSiO3. So here FeSiO3, that is a flux, it is act as a flux, here it is act as a gangue, then the formation of the slag. Hence this they will collect at the bottom of this blast furnace. Here the mixture is deposited below the slag. Below the slag it is deposited, where the mixture consists of what? Here the mixture consists of a cuprous sulfide Cu2S and a traces of unconverted ferrous sulfide. A mixture of cuprous sulfide and the traces of unconverted ferrous sulfide is deposited at the bottom of this furnace. At the bottom of this furnace. That Cu2S and Fes, this mixture, that composition we call matting, a very important, or another we call copper matting. This mixture again this mixture is Cu2S left behind. This mixture is again it is introduced into the Bessemer converter. In this Bessemer converter I am passing the hot air inside this. So this again traces of unconverted ferrous sulfide reacts with oxygen, formation of ferrous oxide, again it combines with sand or the impurity silica, formation of ferrous sulfide, ferrous silicate slag. Next the Cu2S, this Cu2S mixture, this Cu2S reacts with oxygen, formation of cuprous oxide. This cuprous oxide, only the 2/3 of the cuprous sulfide reacts with oxygen, formation of cuprous oxide. Then again this cuprous oxide reacts with Cu2S, means cuprous sulfide. So both are reacted to give the copper. So these coppers are poured into molds. This copper are poured into molds and they are allowed to cool. So what happens? Where the moisture will get escape, where the sulfur dioxide gas will escape from the Cu. So what happens? It will the formation of what? Blisters on the surface of this ore. So that copper we call a blistered copper. That copper we call a blistered copper is 98% pure. Is 98% pure. So this is about the extraction of copper from the ore, copper pyrite. Very important. In the exam, the isolation of element in the chapter, they will ask any one extraction means in iron, means in the blast furnace through the copper, extraction of copper or the extraction of iron. Now I will explain the extraction of alumina. So in this in this three, anyone is compulsory, they will ask for your coming exam. Got it? So the next we moved on for the extraction of alumina. The extraction of alumina. It is the third one. So we finished how we extract, how we get the iron from its hematite ore. Next, the second thing is how we get the copper from the copper pyrites. So next we get enter for the extraction, that is extraction of alumina. So please keep this step. If you learn along with this step, means it will become very easy to do this, how to extract the copper. So the next one is the extraction of alumina. Extraction of alumina. Here the alumina is extracted. You all know that we have to take for any metal you are going to extract that, you have to get the metal. So we have to do the extraction. So here I am taking the ore in the extraction of alumina, that is Al2O3. Al2O3, a pure alumina. So now this extraction of alumina takes place, the process called Hall-Héroult process. Hall-Héroult process through an electrolytic reduction. So this is the extraction of alumina. So this is how this process will take place. This is about this electrolytic reduction through an Hall-Héroult process. Here this a molten alumina, we call it as a molten alumina, it is a molten state. This molten alumina, that is what? Al2O3 plus Na3Al(F6). This we call as a molten alumina. And mixture combines with a cryolite. We call it as a cryolite. And also we add a fluorspar also, but now we are adding now Na3Al(F6). This molten mixture, Na3Al(F6). So the molten alumina is mixed with a cryolite. So what is the purpose of adding this cryolite? What is the use of this cryolite? Means this cryolites will lower the melting point of the bauxite. We know that how the alumina is extracted. How we get the alumina? Through a ore. Now, we will get the alumina, a ore called bauxite. Here this bauxite Al2O3 mixed with a cryolite. This bauxite mixed with a cryolite. Why we are using this cryolite? This cryolite, what is the use of adding this cryolite? It lowers the melting point of the bauxite. It lowers the melting point and it is a good conductor of electricity. The cryolite is also and increase the conductivity. It will increase the conductivity. Increase the conductivity means they are the good conductor of electricity. They are the good conductor of electricity. They are the good conductor of electricity. So for that purpose, we are using this cryolite. So hence we are taking the ore, bauxite, that is Al2O3. This molten alumina is mixed with the cryolite. What is the use of cryolite? It lowers the melting point of the bauxite ore and also to increase the conductivity. Increase the conductivity means it is a good conductor of electricity. So now this mixture, this bauxite, this molten alumina and the cryolite is now get introduced into the cast iron tank. It is a rectangular tank. Hence it is lined with a carbon. Here a bunch of graphite rods are inserted or placed inside the cast iron tank. A bunch of graphite rod. So this bunch of graphite rod, it acts as an anode, where this cast iron tank, cast iron tank, it's lining with the carbon, is itself act as a cathode. And here it is act as a anode. Got it? Here one tap hole is there to remove the pure aluminum. So now the process will start. Now the electrolysis will carried out. So now the electrolysis is carried out at the temperature 1173 Kelvin to 1223 Kelvin. The electrolysis is carried out at 1173 Kelvin to 1223 Kelvin. So what happened? This alumina, this molten alumina, if it decomposes, the alumina will decomposes to the formation of aluminium at the anode and the oxygen at the cathode. So at the cathode, where the alumina is get deposited, where the alumina get deposited at cathode, and the oxygen will get deposited at anode. So now how this will get decomposes? Now how? So is the electrolysis will carried out at 1173 Kelvin to 1223 Kelvin. So here the alumina, it will decomposes to the formation of alumina at cathode and oxygen at anode. So now how the reaction takes place? So now how the reaction will take place? Here this Al2O3, it will decomposes to the formation of what? Al2 2Al3 plus 3O2 minus. Got it? Yes, this overall process, how they will get decompose. How it will get decomposes, this aluminum. So now at the cathode, what happened? So at cathode we come to know the aluminum ion, it get reduced into alumina. The aluminium ion reduces to alumina. Aluminium. This alumina ion or alumina ion, sorry, this alumina ion or reduces to aluminium. Alumina ion reduces to aluminum. Yes, at cathode. So at cathode it takes place. So now what happened here? Al3 plus 3 electrons get removed. So totally we get A. Totally we get Al, means alumina. A pure aluminium is deposited at cathode. So at cathode, where the alumina ion reduces to aluminium. So here the Al3 plus 3 electrons, so we get the aluminium. So now come to the at anode. At anode, here the oxide ion, it will reduces, it will combines with the carbon to the formation of what? Here the oxide ion at the anode, it will reduces to the formation, it reacts with the carbon, formation of what? The carbon monoxide and the CO2. The carbon monoxide and the CO2. How it takes place? This carbon reacts with formation of CO plus 2 electrons. Then the carbon reacts with So at the cathode with this carbon reacts with oxide ion, formation of carbon monoxide. Again this carbon reacts with 2 molecules of O. So formation of carbon dioxide with elimination of the electrons. So what about the net equation? So here the net equation is Al2O3 plus C give rise to Al, a pure alumina and CO2 gas. A pure alumina and CO2 gas. Where the carbon dioxide gas escape. Yes. So this is how we get the alumina. So finally we get the alumina, a pure alumina through this process, the Hall-Héroult process. So here the graphite rod is replaced is replaced for an hour, it is replaced. Why it will get replaced? We are doing a replacement of graphite rod to avoid the corrosion. To avoid the corrosion, we are replacing this graphite rods. In the process, we are repeatedly replacing the graphite rod to avoid the corrosion. So this is how we get the alumina from the ore bauxite. Through all-alloy process, means electrolytic reduction. So this is a very important. They will ask the extraction of alumina through an all-alloy process. Explain the all-alloy process for the extraction of alumina. So here once again I am repeating this concept, the extraction of alumina through all-alloy process, since we are taking a ore bauxite. This is a cast iron type. This bauxite, this molten mixture, addition of what? The cryolite Na3Al(F6). This mixture, why we are adding the cryolite? Why? Because it will lower the melting point and increase the conductivity. Means lower the melting point of the bauxite and increase the conductivity, means they are the good conductor of electricity. So when the electrolysis is carried out at a temperature 1173 Kelvin to 1223 Kelvin. So what happens here? The aluminum oxide or decomposes to the formation of what? The alumina, and the at the cathode it will get deposited, at the anode the oxide will get deposited. At the cathode, where the alumina ion is reduced to form the aluminium, where the oxide ion reacts with carbon to the formation of the carbon dioxide and the carbon monoxide. So lastly, the net reaction is the Al2O3 with the carbon formation of aluminum. A pure alumina is we are getting through this all-alloy process. So where the graphite rod is, we are replaced regularly for why? Because to avoid the corrosion. To avoid the corrosion, we are replacing this graphite rod. So this is about how we extract the alumina through all-alloy process, electrolytic reduction through our bauxite. So we finally finished the three metal, how they are get extracted, how the iron is get extracted, how the copper is extracted, and how the alumina is extracted. So the last metal in this chapter, that is how the zinc is extracted. How the zinc is extracted. Zinc. Extraction of zinc. Extraction of zinc. So yesterday we discussed that Ehrlich diagram. On that we discussed that how the zinc oxide is get reduced. So on that the zinc oxide, it can be reduced into a zinc by adding a suitable reducing agent. We use that coke. So here also the same. Here the zinc oxide, it will get reduced into zinc by adding a suitable reducing agent. Here I am using a suitable reducing agent, that coke, at 1673 Kelvin. So this, it will get reduces to the formation of zinc and C. Zinc and C. So here I am using a coke as a good reducing agent, and this process is carried out at vertical retort. It is one of the instrument we are using, operator are using. This zinc oxide reacts with coke at 1673 Kelvin in a vertical retort. So what happens? Hence it will get reduces, where the zinc oxide is reduces to zinc and carbon monoxide gas. So this zinc oxide consists of the vapors are get evaporated through distillations. The vapors are evaporated through distillations. The vapors are evaporated through distillation. Vapors are evaporated through distillation. Here the zinc consists of some of the vapor, it will get distillated, evaporated through distillation. Hence they are allowed to cool to become a solid. The zinc will means it get converted into the solid. To allow to cool, it will become a solid through a rapid chilling. Through a rapid chilling, this will become, the solid will get converted into the zinc will get converted into a solid Zn through a rapid chilling, where the vapors get evaporated through distillation, and it will get allowed to cool to the formation of solid through a rapid chilling. So this is how we can extract the zinc from this process. Here this process we call it as an reducing, means it will get reduces, where the zinc oxide, here the metal oxide, it will get reduces into the metal with using the suitable reducing agent. Here I am using the coke, and it will carried out in the vertical retort. It is one of the instrument at the temperature at 1673 Kelvin. It will get converted, it will get reduces, the zinc oxide reduces into zinc and the formation of carbon monoxide. And it's having some vapors, where the zinc having the vapors are evaporated through distillation, and the zinc will allow to cool for the conversion of the solid through a rapid chilling. So this is how we extract the zinc through this reduction process. Through this means it will get reduces, the metal oxide will get reduces into metal. This we got an extraction of zinc. So the four important extraction of iron, copper, alumina and zinc. And also we can also extract the copper through our low grade ores. We can also extract the copper from through a low grade ores. Means how we get this copper from, how we extract the copper from the low grade ores? Through leaching. We have to leach to form a ore, where the copper ore is leached to form the ore. So that it will react with some of the acids like a dilute acid, or in the presence of bacteria, they will get converted to the formation of what? So formation of the ore. So again it will get reduces one of the reducing agent to the formation of, we get the ore. Extraction of copper, extraction of copper from low grade ores. From low grade ores, how we can extract the copper? The extraction of copper is from the low grade ores. Here the copper is leached to form ore. Here the copper is leached to form ore. And means where they leach? By dissolving this with the dilute acids. By dissolving with dilute acids. Dissolving with dilute acids, or in the presence of bacteria, So here the extraction of copper from the low grade ores. Here the ore is leached to form, here the copper is leached to form a ore, but dissolving with the dilute acids. Acid is a dilute acid, or in the presence of the bacteria. So if you take the Cu, hence I am taking this dilute acid, that is H2SO4, presence of oxygen. So formation of what? CuSO4 plus H2O. CuSO4 plus H2O. CuSO4 plus H2O. So now this copper is leached with ore, means it is dissolving it acid, or in the presence of bacteria, the formation of this CuSO4 and water. So now the cupric ion present in the solution, this cupric ion Cu plus, this Cu2 plus, what is present in it? The Cu2 plus, the copper is present in this solution. The cupric ion is present in the solution. It get reduced. It get reduced. So means here the cupric ion, that's cupric ion, that is Cu2 plus, it will get reduced into copper. It will get reduced into copper by adding a reducing agent, that is zinc. That is a reducing agent, zinc. Why I am using this reducing agent? The zinc only. Why? Reducing agent, zinc. So here, reducing agent, I am using the zinc. Why? Because yesterday in the previous class we discussed that zinc is having the lowest reduction potential, hence it will reduces very fast. So this copper, this cupric ion reduces with one of the reducing agent, that is zinc, to the formation of what? Cu plus Zn2 plus. The formation of what? Copper. Formation of what? Copper. So this is one of the method how we extract the copper from the low grade ores. How we get the copper from the low grade ores. So extraction of copper from the low grade ores. Here the ore is the copper is leached to form a ore with a dilute acid or in the presence of bacteria. Formation of this CuSO4, the cupric ion present in the solution, NCr get reduces to a copper by adding a suitable reducing agent, that is zinc. Why I am using only the zinc? Zinc is having a lowest reduction potential, hence it will reduces fast. So I am using this zinc here. So now it will get reduces Cu plus and Zn2 plus. We will get the copper. So this is one of the method for the extraction of copper from low grade ores. So these are all the metals. How we get the metals from this extraction? Through extraction, how we get the metals? So finally we discussed the four important, that is extraction of iron, extraction of copper, extraction of alumina, and extraction of zinc. And also we can also extract a copper through a low grade ores. So this is how we get the metals. This is the end of the extraction process. So after this extraction, we get the metal, we get the crude metal. That's the third method in the principle and the process. The principle and the method, under that the third method is the conversion of, means the reduction of metal oxides, means the reduction of metals to form a crude metals. On that we get the crude metals now. The third step is over, we get the crude metals. Now we have to get enter for the fourth and the last principle and the method of the extraction of the ore. The last one is the refining of metals. Moreover, if we get the metals through an extraction, even though the metals, it will comprises of what? Some impurities are present in it. Some impurities are present in it, like metals, like non-metals, like gases, like oxides are present in it. So hence we have to remove that impurities. From the metal to get a pure metals. So that process we call refining of metals. So hence we will discuss this topic, this refining of metals, on the next session. Okay. Thank you.